All right, everybody, welcome back in. Kick Dad out, I guess. He'll be back on.
Yeah.
Welcome back in, everybody, to another episode of the Lesko podcast. Joined by Brett Cable once again, and viewer Michelle. You've seen her comments on the live videos. Michelle, welcome in.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. It's good to have. It's good to finally get you on. You know, we've been trying to coordinate it, but yeah, Michelle's one of our loyal viewers, so it's always good to have viewers on. She's going to talk wrestling, and we're going to talk some football too. Her husband, Steve, is a baseball guy, has his own podcast, so that's good. That's cool to hear. Michelle, whatever you want to say, introduce yourself or whatever you want to tell the viewers.
My name is Michelle Schaff. This is my husband, Steve. After Coach Franklin got fired, we were just scanning the YouTube channels to see what was being said and who was saying what. And we found Mark and Brett and just really connected with them and like their no-nonsense attitude, their honesty, which we appreciated because we felt the same way about Coach Franklin. We needed to get rid of him, and the sooner the better. The Band-Aid's gone, and now we heal and we move on. So we're excited to be here because we really like you guys, and we get excited when we see that you go live.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm a 1988 graduate of Penn State University. My entire family has gone to Penn State on my mom's side. My brother is a 1987 graduate in mineral engineering, and I graduated with a degree in secondary education. And I taught 7th grade English, 12th grade English, and then I switched gears, became a librarian, and then I ran an online program for our school district, and I retired early. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You and my dad were talking a little bit, and you knew some of the same people at Penn State. His roommate was in your
fraternity. He's one of my fraternity brothers. It is what a small world. What a small world. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't discuss yet which bars we hit the same, but yeah.
We'll get there. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for example, Skeller was there when I was in school. So even you're talking about, Michelle, how State College is totally different now. It's got so many more buildings, like a small city now. Even when I was in school, it was not what it is now. So Skeller was still there. I think the saloon's gone. Bar Blue is gone. Let me think what else. Players was there, I think, at that time. And that was then Indigo, and now it's the basement.
Crowbar.
There's definitely
Crowbar. Oh, my brother used to do that. Was his
Crowbar,
favorite.
Yeah.
How about the First?
The First.
Yep.
I turned 21 there.
Okay.
Yep, me too.
I don't remember it, but
if you want to go dumpster diving, the brewery's right there outside the alley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about the Shandy Gaff?
Yep, Gaff is still there.
Is it still there?
Oh,
Mark Senior, do you remember the Surf Club?
No, I don't. The only one I remember kind of is the First, and the one at the Raskeller, it was beside BNC now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think they
Isn't that the one where Gavin McKenna punched the guy?
I don't know.
I don't know what
Surf Club.
Possible.
Surf Club isn't there anymore. I think that's so. My coworker, his name is Denny Lingenfelter. He played baseball at Penn State for a short time before he got hurt. Steve might know who he is. He was telling me the other day about the Surf Club. It had sand in it, right?
Yes, it did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
So
and Cafe 410.
Cafe 210,
410 West. Yeah.
Yes, because I was right near my apartment, and we love to go there in the spring when the days got nice and you can hang out on the
Well, I actually might surprise some people. I like watching bass fishing, and today was the Bassmaster Classic.
Ooh.
And I remember that was always a sign of spring. So thank God spring is almost here.
Yep.
The Masters is almost here. Easter's almost here. So spring is almost here. It's good.
This is the most exciting week of the year because it's NCAAs and wrestling.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. My friend Teddy's going down in Ohio for the first time. His dad always goes down, so he's going down.
We've
Yep. I don't
been.
know if you guys know the Sundays, but yeah, my buddy Teddy Sunday.
I don't know him. We've been to Madison Square Garden. We were in New York. We've been to
Pittsburgh.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Okay.
Simon is my cousin. He has a birthday
Yesterday.
I don't know if was it yesterday, Dad?
Well,
Was
I don't
that
know.
his
You said
official
happy
birthday?
birthday to him. Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Simon.
I
Yeah.
think so. Yep.
Okay. So he's 16
Yep.
now. So everybody driving, watch out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I always say that when my sister got her license, I was like, oh man, watch out. But Michelle, you're a big wrestling fan, football fan too. But
Absolutely.
you guys, you and Steve can talk, some baseball and wrestling, and you and Dad can still share some stories. But yeah, you take the floor.
Okay, you could do it.
Well, that's a pretty exciting time of the year. I mean, when you're a Penn State wrestling fan, you get an opportunity to see the best of the best, and Penn State has many of the best of the best. And 7 guys ranked number 1 coming into the tournament. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And they've just had a great year. They're all healthy, which is even more important. The last few years, Josh Barr last year and some other guys other years were not so healthy, and this year it seems to be all coming together. And the scary thing is there are people that claim next year could be even better because they're only losing Levi Haynes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it, Steve, is like you just said. I do know that much that what's the one kid's name? Is it Starachi?
Oh yeah,
Carter Starachi.
The Jersey kid.
He's an Erie kid. The Jersey kid this year, Van Ness.
Van Ness, he's like 152 or something like that.
He's 149. Yep.
He's probably their best guy, right?
Well, he's undefeated, so he's certainly up there with them.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Luke well.
They have Lillidahl. Well, the Messenbrink is running
Mitchell,
people like a train, and so is Josh Barr. I mean, those guys have not only finished the season undefeated and the tournament, but they've also bonused everybody they've wrestled, either pinned them
or
tackled them or major decision them. So it's been a heck of a year for those guys.
Yeah.
When I've watched, Messenbrink was my favorite to watch because he goes all for it. You know what I mean? Yes. He doesn't wait. He's like, I'm just going to go now. And I'm like, all right. He has all that energy. Yeah, I like how he wrestles.
He's nonstop. His gas tank is full. Yep.
That whistle blows and he's off.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Clinton and how he was my neighbor growing up, and he was so tall and lanky. I mean, he wasn't like skinny, but he was so tall and lanky. I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, they said how difficult it is for a tall guy like that to be that dominant at 174, I think was his weight. Is that right? Like it was a little harder for a taller guy like that?
He was at 174 at one time, then he went to 84, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, his last year he was 97. He beat the number 1 guy in the country in the finals that year, and Kilgore, and that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's uncommon too, right? Going up in weight and still winning.
Yeah.
But that's Quentin. Great guy. Great person too. So, but continue. You can continue, Michelle.
Oh no, I'll defer to Steve.
All right.
Well, it start off at 125, and you have Luke Lillidahl going, and he's ranked number 1 in the country. He's seeded number 1. He's undefeated, so he has some tough guys in his bracket, and some tough guys on the other side of the bracket when it comes to the finals. If he makes it that far, which I'm pretty confident he will, but he's going to have some good matches coming up toward the finals, and that should be an interesting weight to watch because there are just so many guys at 125 that are really quality wrestlers.
Yeah.
What was Ayala last year?
Well, he's at 33.
Oh, he's at...
And then you go to 33, and that's just like a blitzkrieg. I mean, it's just crazy, and they're almost all freshmen. The guys that are up at the top of the heap are almost all freshmen. You have Marcus Blaze for Penn State, who's seeded number 3, and then you have Jax Forrest, who's only wrestled 13 or so matches, and he's seeded number 1, and he just came out of high school between December and January and enrolled in Oklahoma State and ranked number 1, at least for the tournament right now. And then you have Ben Davino, who's at Ohio State, and he's a freshman, and he and Blaze have split their 2 matches. So it's going to be a heck of a weight class. Then you have the defending champion who lost twice in the Big Ten tournament, and he came in undefeated, number 1 in the country, and lost twice. So it's just been a really interesting weight.
Yeah.
Who's 4? Slidell. Oh, and Slidell from Virginia Tech.
And he lost to Jax Forrest. I think it was either 11-10 or 10-9, and Jax hit a 7-point move. Otherwise, Slidell probably would have beaten him because he was ahead most of the match. And toward the end, then he still got 2 more takedowns to get right back in it, and just couldn't quite finish it off.
Yeah, so 3 of the top 4 are true freshmen. Davino from Ohio State is a redshirt freshman, but the other 3 are straight out of high school, which is crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Only Penn State could do that. Nobody else. Yeah. Nobody else could do that, man.
Do you guys follow the wrestling recruiting?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, they have 2 guys.
Oh,
well, James
Jackson
James is coming in. He just won a title, and he is phenomenal. I think in the finals he pinned his kid in 121, and the longest match he had was 222 or something to that, somewhere around that time. So he finished everybody off early, and he is the one person who has beaten Melvin Miller, who was a big recruit for Virginia Tech, and he'll be going down there along with Bo Bassett. But long story short, James beat him in one of the matches this year, so it was pretty exciting things coming in. I mean, they have Henkel, who's kind of waiting in the wings, maybe to fill the spot of Levi. I guess it all depends if guys move up, what they decide to do for next year, but they're going to be pretty well loaded next year too, because as I mentioned, the only one they lose is Levi.
Yeah.
That's crazy that about half of their all their wrestlers are good, but half of their number 1 guys are freshmen, you said? And this might be the best team that they've had in a couple of years, right? Penn State?
Yeah, the last 2 years they've broken the points record at the NCAAs, and people claim that they certainly have a good shot to do it again this year. Things have to go right, but they put things in place to this point.
Yeah.
So I've been following recruiting for high school a little bit because of it's Bo Bassett, right? Am I saying his name right?
That's correct.
Yep.
So he's a Pennsylvania kid going to Virginia Tech. I think I think they're paying him like $5 million or something like that in NIL. But his high school, they have, I think, 1 in 3 recruits this year, and then the number 1 next year as well. Yes. One's going to Oklahoma State, one's going to, I forget where, but it's crazy that Pennsylvania wrestling is it's the best. Bo Bassett is, I think, the number 1 wrestler in the country in high school. And I know why didn't Penn State get him, do you think?
I think it was I think he was playing the money in the benefits game, and things just didn't work out. And Penn State tends not to play that way, at least in wrestling. Can't speak for all the sports, but in wrestling, they tend to try to get guys that fit their mold, fit what they want to do, and guys who are really committed to. I'm not saying Bo's not committed to wrestling, but I think it was just a case that it wasn't quite the fit that they thought. And when he started to play the money game or the benefits game, that pretty much in some ways closed the door a little bit, and things just didn't work out. But his adopted brother, Melvin Miller, will be the number 1 next year. And Jax Forrest, the guy that enrolled at Oklahoma State, was number 1 coming out, but then he left early, so Bo became number 1 for this year. Okay. Yeah, they're all Bishop McCourt.
Yeah, I was gonna say I heard that too about Bo, and you guys don't have to hold back. You know what podcast you're on, so you can speak your mind. But I heard his character about Bo mainly. It was just like you said, the money and stuff like that, and Yeah, that is not Penn State. So,
No.
so
Yeah, we
I
can
mean-
speak for football too. That football's not just paying you like that. I mean,
Yeah.
no.
obviously we miss on big targets all the time because we want a guy that's going to fit the mold at Penn State, and just giving you money is not the way to do it. So
I was
He
going
had
to ask that.
committed-
Yeah.
Yeah, Bo had committed to Iowa, and
Mhm.
then
And I
That-
think he was
Okay.
going to get $5 million over
Yeah.
the course of the years, and there was
Yeah.
somehow or other they changed the rules, and I don't know that he can make that much now, but I think they actually put a value on wrestlers too, and kind of cap things off a little bit. That was my whole thing the whole way along. They should have just put $100,000 or some kind of cap on this, so it wouldn't go
Mm-hmm.
out of the world, and it's just going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mhm.
NIL stuff.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
out of
mean,
control.
In our day, people were just appreciative to get a scholarship or a partial
Yep.
scholarship and have some of their education paid for, and
Yeah.
not anymore.
God, I was
Mhm.
lucky if I had $20 in college a week.
No. Ramen noodles.
Yeah.
How about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember back in my college days, I mopped the wrestling mats and cleaned them off every day to get $40 every 2 weeks, just so I could have a little bit of
Yeah.
spending money.
Yeah, I started off in Altoona, and we brought 2 high school friends home, and we had an apple, and I threw it in the back seat where they were, and it sounded like 2 wolves back there fighting over it. Man, they must not have ate much because they were hungry. But that was funny when I remember that. Wow. Yeah, we didn't eat much in college.
No, Mark Senior, do you remember selling your books back at the end of the semester so
yeah.
you could go and then you could go
$4.
grab something to
Yeah.
eat?
Oh yeah. You didn't get much, but it was food money.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Did you guys, Michelle? Did you and Steve both go to Bellefonte, or Steve? You did, right? You said
No, I was a Kishiko-Quillis kid. I don't know if you ever heard of Kishiko-Quillis, but it's over the
no.
mountain.
What? No.
Well, and I
Okay.
went to Chief Logan.
Okay.
So there's an age difference between us. But Kishiko-Quillis and Chief Logan combined back in the late 80s and
Mhm.
became Indian Valley. I don't know if you ever remember hearing of that school.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was Indian Valley. And then
Okay.
Indian Valley and Lewistown combined, and that's Mifflin County now. So it's just there's just one school in our county. So
And way
Oh,
back
okay.
in
Another
our
roommate named Buddy.
way back in our day, there were 4 schools in the county at the time combined to become Penn Highlands, but it only lasted 3 years. They totally revamped the school board through elections and took it back
Okay.
out, so that everybody went back to their own school, and then Rothrock combined with Lewistown to eliminate Rothrock. But
Okay.
yeah, it's been a wild ride in Mifflin County over the years.
Yeah. I've been up that way, but not too often, so I'm not too familiar with that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my grandfather was like from like Millheim area, so I'm familiar with like that past Penns Valley and like that direction, Bellefonte, and then State College. So like that's where my main stomping grounds are from. Yeah.
Kishko-Willis, is that down past like Danville?
No, it's close in the Reedsville area.
we're about 25 minutes from State College.
I don't know if you ever came up to Penn State from the Harrisburg area.
Yeah.
Before the bypass was built,
Yeah.
it was all 2-lane in the middle
Yeah.
there. Well, Kishiko-Quillis was right on that 2-lane.
Okay.
Okay. You go past Seven Mountains or that direction to get up there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. We're at the
Gotcha.
base of Seven Mountains, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had a roommate
In fact-
that was in what was that? Chief Logan. Yeah, he played
Who's
football
that?
there. I just remember his nickname was Buddy. That's all I remember. Buddy.
That's-
He was a football player, I believe, at Chief Logan, and then they changed the name, like Steve said, or you said. That's all I know. He was my senior year roommate.
In senior year in college.
Yep.
All right, Mark Senior, you've got to rack your brain and figure out who that was, because I'm sure I
Okay.
know him.
You probably
It's
know.
small
He's probably
town.
the same age
Yeah.
as us.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in those days, Chief Logan and Lewistown was in the league with Bellefonte and Bald Eagle area and Tyrone and
Markey was a quarterback, and he played at was it Indian Valley, Mark? And they hit hard.
Yep, bro.
I mean,
yeah, I think it was like the second series on offense. Sprained my thumb, and I got thrown out of bounds, like clear on the track, and I got cut up, and I had a concussion. Definitely had a concussion. But we didn't have a backup, and I didn't say anything, so I just kept playing. But it was my left thumb, so the ball kept getting snapped into my thumb. By the end of the game, it was, Dad will remember, it was fully swollen, and we won. No, we tied. Dad, right?
Yeah.
I had a John Elway touchdown, jumped in the end zone and got spun around.
Was it over here or was it at?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you were at Mitchell, the infamous Mitchell Field.
Yeah.
Who was your coach? Was it Glenn Stoker? Was he there at that time?
Oh, Gaylord might have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, Coach Stoker, his last season was my senior year at Bald Eagle, and my senior year, 2010, was the season. I graduated in 11. Indian Valley and Lewistown, we played both of them. Beat Lewistown, barely lost to Indian Valley. I actually lost us the game. Didn't run my fourth down route far enough. But that was the last year they were separate.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, and then the next year they were combined. So
yep. You're exactly right. Yes.
And I remember Bald Eagle played Bellefonte twice in 2012. I think they played Bellefonte twice because the schedule was all messed up. So, and that's the oldest rivalry in Pennsylvania.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
The Curtain Bowl. Yep.
Wow. Interesting.
And Michelle, the quarterback. So the kid that I talked about this on here, but the kid that played quarterback for Bellefonte, who I tried out with at Penn State, he just won the Beast games. He just won $5 million.
Yes, I heard you saying that.
Yeah. So
that's so cool.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. 200 people he won. That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah. But I don't know Dad, how did we get off on this?
I'm not sure. I was going to ask Michelle and Steve, did you come up to the BJC for the Big Ten wrestling?
We did not. My pop's pushing 87, so we just have him come in here and we get ESPN Plus or Big Ten Plus, and we can just throw it up on the big screen and we can pick which match we watch, and he enjoys that. So
nice.
We did go to Maryland last year.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago we went to Maryland.
Right, last year was at Northwestern.
So we'll do that for the NCAAs on Thursday. We'll have all the matches going and we can pick which one we watch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Michelle mentioned Chief Logan. That's how we got off the beaten path.
Yes.
That's where my dad coached. Yeah, that's where my dad was a assistant wrestling coach. Yeah, so.
Nice.
But Stoker, he was at Bald Eagle back in the 90s when my uncle played. My uncle was, I think he's like 6'4", 250 or something at the time. He stood out like a sore thumb. Could have played college ball. He was good at baseball too. I think he's throwing like mid 90s in high school, Dad.
He was. He went to Maryland.
Allegheny, Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah, Allegheny.
Yeah, Brad Smith. Steve, you heard of that name?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he went to some camps. He had the Braves coaches back when it was it Glavin and those famous Stoltz. Yeah, those famous Braves pitchers. He had his coach at one point.
Yeah, we're looking at him. Atlanta was looking at him. He used to break his catcher's hand. He threw so hard.
I
think he broke 3 hands, something like that, throwing to his catchers, something like that.
Yeah, but then he went to Lock Haven, but he never finished. Too bad. But
and Dad's brother was good pitcher too.
Yeah, two of my brothers were really good.
Yeah. So
he threw his arm out at a baseball, not a clinic, but where you would go and you would, punt throw and whatever that was.
Oh yeah.
He went to one of them
Pass
and
punt.
threw his shoulder out. So
Pass
Oh
punt.
man.
that was the end of his career.
Yeah. But
Yeah, back in those days in high school, there were no pitching rules or limits. I mean, when we played 24 games, I pitched 11 of them.
Yeah, whole game.
Yeah, you didn't come out unless
No.
something really happened.
Yeah, not today. They're timed. How many pitches they can throw in
Yeah.
the pros? 100? I don't know what it is, but
Well, they
Yeah.
they can throw as many as they want, but they oftentimes will limit them in the now Little League and all that stuff. They have specific pitch
yeah,
counts.
okay.
I think it's
Okay.
85 in Little League, and I don't. The high school has rules, and the major leagues they can do it, but they're really careful with them anymore.
Yeah,
Now you'll get guys our age that talk in the podcasts that we do, and they'll say they don't like it because they just felt if you were pitching well, why would you come out? And
right.
they felt the more they pitched, the better they got, as
Yeah.
opposed to just being held back. But yeah, you get
Makes
different
sense.
views. Yeah.
I was a pitcher in Little League, but that was it. That's my story.
Yeah.
I went out.
Michelle,
We were winning, and then they took me out, put me on third, and then we ended up losing. The bases were loaded. They took me back in, and then they argued for like a half hour. They got the rule books out, and I'm standing out there not knowing what to do. And I don't know, I threw like three balls, and I lost the game. But they were, Little League is ugly. The parents get involved, and it's just
It definitely
yeah.
is.
Last time
I didn't want to come back in, but
Yeah. Last time I played baseball was probably when I was younger. I wasn't very. My brother was better than I was, but the only sport I was probably decent at was basketball. But I'm too short for that too. So I just, it's fun to play, but being 5'8", it's you're not doing
Yeah,
most
that
sports with that. So
makes
yeah,
it tough.
yep, for sure.
you still play basketball, right?
Well, my sciatica has not allowed me to do much of anything lately, but I want to try to get back out there and I got a park right next to my house. I can shoot the ball there, but
Okay.
we'll see.
yeah, Brett and I went to Sam's Club today. Did some adult things, so
Yeah.
went to
Hit
the
the
gym and then
gym.
Sam's Club.
Yep.
So, but
Yeah. Good time.
Michelle, wrestling obviously huge at Penn State, and I think they should get their own arena. But
Agreed.
is there
Agreed.
anything more you want to say about the wrestling coming up?
Well, I can go through the rest of the guys that are going to be wrestling. Braden Davis, he's the number 14 seed. He's at 141, and he is a decent draw, but he's going to have a tough road. He's probably going to get Brock Hardy in his second match, and Brock Hardy was in the finals last year, so it's going to be a tough match. But he got ahead of him in the dual meet this year, and then ended up getting pinned. But he was doing pretty well early, so we'll see what happens. Then you go back to number one guys. Shane Van Ness is undefeated, ranked number one, seeded number one at 149, and then 157. You have PJ Duke, who's a true freshman. He's lost one match, and that was to last year's national champion. And then he turned around in the Big Ten tournament and beat him pretty handily.
Have you ever heard of the kale tax?
No.
Okay, so there's I don't know, I guess a legend. When a wrestler, because none have matched the feat of Cale Sanderson of going undefeated. So
4 years.
4 years and winning 4 national titles.
159-0, Cale was in his
So
career.
when they lose their first match as a Nittany Lion, it's called paying the kale tax.
Okay.
So PJ Duke paid the kale tax this year. But as Steve mentioned, he came back and just absolutely destroyed the returning national champion. So in that case, the kale tax worked. And Marcus Blaze, who's at 133, he's a true freshman. He paid the kale tax already. So it's almost like a monkey off their back, I feel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm looking at Duke's bio, and he went 43-1 as a freshman in high school, and then He went 173-1 in high school.
He's
Yeah, he is.
amazing.
He just
He lost one as a
crazy.
freshman and went 42, 44, and 44-0 and
Well, we'll
sophomore,
hope he does
junior,
the
and
same.
senior.
Where did he come from? What high school?
New York, Minnesink, New York.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Then if anybody thinks wrestling is boring, you'll want to watch 165 because the guy at the top, Mitchell Messenbrink, is
Yep.
like the
Tasmanian
guy,
devil.
Tasmanian devil. I mean, as soon
Tasmanian
as that
devil, yeah.
whistle blows, he's coming
Yep.
and he's not stopping until the whistle blows at the end, and
Mhm.
he's exciting.
He's
And
pretty
he has
tall
bone-
too, right? For a wrestler, he's pretty tall, isn't it?
Yeah, he's fairly tall and he's put together. He
Yep.
is not only is he undefeated, he has bonused. He's either pinned, tech falled,
Yep.
or major decision to everybody he's wrestled this year.
Mm-hmm.
I watched
Man.
his match against Ohio State, and he absolutely just dominated that guy.
Well,
Yeah.
and his first year here, first of all, I don't know how he started out at Cal Baptist, and we don't even know how anybody missed him because he was clearly on no one's radar. He came to Penn State, and his freshman year here, he was in the finals, and the score was tied. However, his opponent had riding time, which means you get a point.
Yep.
He did not know that. And because he was looking at the score and it was tied because they don't put the riding point up until the match is over. And he legit lost that by not knowing what the
That's
score was.
crazy.
There were still 40
He could
seconds
have,
to go.
yeah.
He was
They,
down. I can't remember exactly how many, but he was down 7-8 points, and he just kept taking them down, taking them down, let him up. And then he stopped because he thought he was tied. He was going to take it into overtime and didn't realize.
Yeah.
But
Messenbrink, you're talking for Messenbrink?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a sophomore?
He's a junior.
Yeah.
Junior, okay.
Redshirt junior, so he has one more year.
He lost in the finals as a freshman and hasn't lost since.
Nope. He paid the Kale tax. He's the only one I truly think could have done what Kale did.
Yeah.
I do believe that. Yeah.
Crazy.
Then, well, going through, just to make sure we don't miss any of the guys and get to mention them. Levi Haynes is at 174. He's the only senior on the team, and he's
a surgeon.
He came out of gave up his senior year of high school to come up here and train. And his freshman year, they took him off a red shirt because somebody got hurt, and he was going to fill in, and he ended up second in the country. And then the next year, he won the national title, and then he lost last year in the semifinals, so he finished third. So he's back to try to get another title. He's ranked number 1, seeded number 1, so he should have a good shot as well. And then Rocco Welsh at 184, he's also ranked number 1, seeded number 1, and he has a nice bracket to go through in his side, but he's got some tough competitors on the other side. So looking forward to hopefully getting him into the finals and seeing who he faces. May have a rematch with McAnally from Minnesota, but we'll have to see. Or it could be Ferrari from Iowa.
Yeah. He's an Ohio State. He transferred.
Transfer.
Yep.
Yep.
And then two kids, Facunda and Zach Ryder, left and went to Okie State. Once Rocco came in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 2 more guys, Josh Barr at 197. He's number 1 in the country, undefeated.
Yep.
He is also bonus, similar to Messenbrink. He's go too, and he has a phenomenal gas tank. He's not quite as active as Messenbrink is, but he's still pretty active.
The hammer.
He has also bonused everybody he's wrestled this year. And then finally at heavyweight, it's Cole Mirasola, who has a twin brother on the team at 197, Connor. So there's 2 Mirasolas here. And Cole's ranked, what is he ranked? Number
7.
Let's check this out here. I lost my train of thought.
Take your time.
I think he's 7th.
Connor?
See if we find out.
Connor
After watching,
Cole's the heavyweight and Connor's the 197.
He's 9th.
Yeah.
He's ranked 9th.
Yeah, he's seeded 9th.
Seeded 9th, yeah.
Okay.
So he's got a tough road to hoe. Part of his problem is he only weighs about 125, 127 pounds, and some of these guys or 225, 227. Some of these guys he wrestles, he struggles a little bit with the guys that are 260, 270. He just it's hard to pick him up, to pick those guys up when you shoot and get a leg, but we'll see what he can do.
Yeah.
Well,
and he usually takes down, and he shouldn't take down because he can't get up. He just can't get out from under them because they're too. So I'm like, no, go neutral, because you at least have a shot at taking them down or causing them to stall and, getting a point that way. I agree. Ferrari is in a slump this year, Thomas.
Yeah, he's got a cool name.
Which
Ferrari.
one?
Yeah, there's two of them. There's AJ
Iowa.
and that's what's his name? The brother.
Angelo.
Angelo's
at Iowa and
AJ's at Nebraska.
And there's a third brother, but I can't remember where he's at.
Okay.
Hearing Ferrari in Iowa sounds like an oxymoron.
It
right?
does.
It sounds like Iowa,
And
Ferrari. Yeah.
Iowa is sort of the example of what you don't want to do. They go into the portal to grab guys and they pay them and then they don't produce because they're there for the wrong reason. They're there for the money,
Well, they're getting the Cale Sanderson tax too, just a different way. They're getting taxed bad because they can't compete. Yep.
Yeah. We like to go on the On3 board, the Iowa board, the wrestling room, and they just go and melt down. They just they loathe Penn State. Well, most of the programs do.
Yeah, they do now.
Yep.
Well, they do. I mean, Iowa does have a storied history, as does Oklahoma State, but they're not quite to the level at Penn State at this point. And then, of course, their fans will claim that Penn State fans think that wrestling started 15 years ago when Cale came. But since being that they've won 12 of the last 14, it's hard to argue that Penn State's been at the top.
Yep. Greatest dynasty in college sports.
It sure is. Yeah. And now we got Matt Campbell, Iowa State. So
Matt Campbell.
Hopefully that transfers to the football program, and I do think it will. Just seems like a completely different vibe.
Totally.
Yep. We can switch to Matt Campbell if you guys want. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Steve, you were saying how some people might think wrestling is boring. Golf is my second favorite sport. I love watching golf. The tournament tonight was awesome. And a lot of people are like, that would put me to sleep. Now me, if I want to fall asleep, I put on a Pirates game because they're horrible. And I mean, wow. But golf to me is very intense. And if you play golf, you understand how hard it is and how it is so mentally draining, and it's physically draining as well because you walk. Wrestling is the same way. It's mentally taxing. It's very physical. It's very fast. I mean, these guys at Penn State, they're the best because they're so quick and their minds are so sharp, and physically, of course, they have it too. But it's so intense. Like, you really have to appreciate how hard it is to be a golfer, how hard it is to be a wrestler. It's not boring to me at all. And if people do think it's boring, I mean, I don't know how you can think wrestling's boring. It's so intense, it's the rawest form of sport. You're wrestling. I mean, you're holding each other. You're trying to tear each other down. Like, it's very physically demanding. So
truly mano y mano.
I'd say the only boring ones sometimes are the heaveweight matches. Let's be honest. Sometimes the heavyweight match can be a little boring. So other than that, it's great.
Well, for people that don't golf, Mark, you mentioned golf. They have, because people have said to me, "Oh, you have pretty good scores. Why don't you go play? Why didn't you try out to play?" They have no idea the courses those guys play are not only so long distance wise, but they are so difficult. It is just unbelievable.
Yeah, they generally walk 4 miles in a round. So they're doing 16 miles in a week. And then if they do a practice round, that's 20 miles they're walking in a week. So that's not easy.
No.
Well, Augusta, that's the thing about Augusta. It's such a long course and it's hot, so Tiger, my favorite athlete, he just dominated golf. He just dominated golf. He was so good for especially that short window. He was so good. But
Yeah.
Michelle, John Gingrich also, I went to high school with him. Did track with him. So he was Penn State's heavyweight at one point too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He did pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So John Gingrich, he was just a freak athlete. I mean, he did
Yeah.
everything. Steve Dorman is an athlete from Bald Eagle that he was killed in a car accident. We wear number 31 for him. So John Gingrich was comparable to Steve Dorman. He was all Gainwood Stoker said that himself. I remember he compared John Gingrich to Steve Dorman. But I remember my junior year, John threw whatever he threw in javelin, but it wasn't quite the school record. And I was like, I need to outthrow John Gingrich and get the school record. So my senior year, I outthrew him in my first meet, and then I got the school record later on in the season. It still stands. But
Wow.
I remember when I got it, I saw John Gingrich walking into wrestling practice. He said, "Hey, Lesko, congratulations on the javelin."
That's
Pretty
so cool.
funny. Yeah.
That's cool. That's neat.
Central Mountain.
Yeah.
Or is that where you got the record? Or is that
Central Mountain. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Angela Hoover, 4-time state champ in javelin from Bald Eagle. Her dad, Ron, was my coach. And
Okay.
he wasn't there that day, but he told me it's downhill down there. So that's why I got the record. So.
yeah.
But yeah, John, and then I think that's really the only two Bald Eagle kids that I can think of. Jake Taylor wrestled at Cornell. What's the other kid that's a Cornell, Dad?
From Bald Eagle?
He's wrestling at Cornell. He was a really good athlete.
Oh yeah, he's a good football player.
Is he there now?
He went to Cornell.
I think so.
Scholarship.
No.
What's his name?
Oh man, Gage McClanahan, is that his name?
That might be. Yeah, he
Is that
like
his
broke his leg or something in the senior year, and they still took him. But yeah. I remember that. Ben would know, but my son wrestled. Marky's brother wrestled in high school too. So we have a little bit of wrestling blood in us, but not much.
Yeah, not much. But yeah, we can talk about football.
Sure.
Okay.
Michelle, you kind of already touched on a little bit, but you found this show because of you were searching Franklin, yes, and I had been saying that for the entire length of this podcast. I said it for probably at least, let me think. He was here for 12 years. So 10 years I was saying we need to let him go. They didn't listen to me, unfortunately. They waited 12 whole years to fire him. But I'll just say this real quick. Halfway through the Nevada game, we didn't score until 3 minutes in the first quarter. I said, this team is not different. I was hoping we'd beat Oregon, but I was like, we're not. It's the same thing again and again and again. So, and then it ended how it did. So,
yeah. I lost my desire to even watch football the last probably 8 years. I didn't even care if I didn't even care to watch Penn State football. Just I don't know. It wasn't, well, Mark Sr. knows. We were there, in the late 80s and the 87 team when Pete Giftopoulos, made the interception in Miami, and it just was different.
yes.
Yeah, it was a lot different. I mean, 86 was my best year.
Yeah.
And then my second best year was the last 7 games in the 25 season under Terry. So, I mean, unbelievable. He went 4-3, and that was the best 7 games of my life at Penn State football. I don't even remember the 86 season, except
I was happy to lose even if they lost with Terry. I mean, James he just couldn't get it done. I mean, it was I'm thinking to myself, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, and that's all they did. And I was hoping they would fire him, and my dad's like, they're not going to fire him halfway through. Man, that Sunday at noon when that alert came through, I was like, yes.
I almost jumped through my window. I was so excited.
It was
Yeah.
a little rough 8 weeks there or whatever it was till we got
Mhm.
someone, but I'm really glad they didn't go with Sataki. I don't think he would have been.
No.
I just don't think
No.
he was the fit, and it just all worked out. And maybe it was planned, maybe it wasn't, but
Mm.
who cares? We got Matt Campbell.
Yeah. I
Well, we
mean,
got lucky too because Sataki said yes. Like we were going to hire him, which like he might have been okay, but like, and then he gets home and he was like, he changed his mind and he was like, no,
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to do it.
It was those
So he
crumble
gave the
cookies.
verbal.
yeah.
Yeah,
Crumble
crumble cookies.
Yeah, Rebel Cookies came into play and
Oh,
made
by
it
the
happen.
way,
So,
kale cookies are really good. Like I'm
Yeah.
not kidding. They are very good.
are they?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
they
I've
are.
never tried.
Yeah. There's
Michelle
one in
told us
State
about
College.
Kale's
Yep.
cookies.
Kale's cookies.
Yeah, Crumble, never go there again, that's for sure.
No.
But
Those
yeah,
are so bad for you too. They're like
Oh,
gigantic
they're
and
horrible.
you just feel like you're dying after you eat one of them. You're like, this isn't
Pure
good,
sugar.
man. I've
Yeah.
had them before, but the Franklin downfall actually helped the podcast. Me and Markham talked about it
Oh yeah,
quite a
for
bit.
sure.
Like we blew up because of the firing of Franklin and the downfall, and people were pissed, like you said, and as they should be. And people wanted to see what was going on, and we had plenty to talk about. So
And you didn't hold back.
No.
Yeah. It was interesting.
No. I and Michelle, I was after Oregon. I said I was on here with Jared. I said, fire Franklin right now. This
Yeah.
is the same old again. They need to fire him. Landon was saying they're not going to fire him because there's 56 million reasons why. And I thought, no, I think they will. I think they will at some point. And
Mm-hmm.
the night before UCLA, I was on here with Matt from Penn State Jerseys and Brett. I said, guys, we could lose tomorrow. And they both thought, they're like, no, we're not going to lose. We lost. I told my coworkers before UCLA, I said 3-0, we're losing at halftime, as a joke. Like we're down 3-0 at halftime. We were down 27-3 or something at halftime. And then same thing with Northwestern. I said
I said it. I said they're gonna lose.
Yep.
That was
I
embarrassing.
said, guys, we can lose tomorrow. I was on the phone with Brett. He's like, no, dude, we're not going to lose. Like, we're going to win 21 points by 21 points. I said, yeah, we should, but I think we might lose. And then we lost. And after that, I thought he's done. He's done. And Saturday night, I'm surprised we didn't hear something. And then Sunday, halfway through, he was done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a bad. I did not like him at all. Like you said, Michelle, I did not like him at all. And I won't get into other stuff I've heard about the guy, but yeah, it's he was not liked.
No,
by
I've heard that from the if you ever listen to Goon and Ironhead, I don't know if you ever listen. He talks about that, he really didn't have any time for the Letterman, or he didn't want to mention Paterno's name and to acknowledge the tradition of Penn State football. It was almost like it started when he got here in whatever year that was, 2014, whatever he got here.
He was selfish.
He was,
All
and
about James.
and that was reflected in the players too, and not in all of them, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't have a good feel. It
Matt
wasn't
Campbell's the
nice.
complete opposite. Matt Campbell,
Yeah.
he's embracing the history of Penn State football. He's bringing it back. He's showing everybody who's at Penn State right now, look at the players on the wall. Look at the guys who came before you. He has an aura about him, right? He just has like this. You can just tell he's a genuine guy.
Yes,
He's not
absolutely.
full of it. He's not full of
Yeah.
it like Frankie Boy was. So.
Yep.
Well, Michelle, to your point, if you go back and watch, particularly Nevada, if you go on YouTube and watch Nevada, and this is one thing I hated always, and I texted Brett this, and he's like, I think they're trying to fire at their team. I'm like, dude, I hate it. If you watch that game, these guys, they make a play. They're sprinting to celebrate. There's times I've seen it many, many, many times. Before the play's over, they're running to celebrate. And I'm like, this is not okay.
No.
And this is not Penn State
Undisciplined,
football. I mean, celebrating is, why are you doing that? You're up 17-0 to Nevada. It's don't
Celebrate
even
when you
celebrate
win.
after. Yeah, I mean, but that's one thing that I had never liked was the celebrating, and I think it trickles down from the coach. Yeah.
And
So
he could not handle the booing and he would taunt fans, and I'm thinking,
Yep.
you're making how much money? Grow a
Mhm.
thick skin, or
Yep.
how about do better? Maybe
he,
coach a little bit better and
Yeah.
have the booing, but
Well, the penalties, you could just see the discipline wasn't there. They
Mm.
would get penalties that were just there's just no reason for them.
Nope.
Mhm.
well, Michelle, you know why Landon Tangwall started his podcast?
I do not.
Because he wanted to learn the history of Penn State football.
Yep.
He knew nothing.
I've heard him say he wouldn't even know who the players were. Like
I mean,
that's my
Mind
and
boggling. It's
I
just
didn't really
cuckoo.
hear
Like,
that
it's-
completely until he was gone. That they knew nothing about the history, and I'm like, are you kidding me? That is insane.
Mhm.
Penn State has so much history. It's way bigger than James Franklin.
Yeah.
He mentioned nothing. The walls were empty. Like, that's sad.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
so sad that he did that. But
now we got the legend Harry Smith right by
Yes.
Matt Campbell's side, man.
Yeah. Thomas asked who's to blame for keeping Franklin so long. It was the AD
Barber.
before Pat. I mean,
Andy Barber, yeah.
the contract that she signed. I
was
mean, that's
terrible.
ridiculous. How can you get
It was
out of
so
a
bad.
contract like that?
He was bad. Yeah.
But
And it was after
he
the-
went 2-10, and he's going to come back because of the money. You can't fire somebody like that. Thank
was
God
after
the
the 2020
contract was he either stays in gets another coaching job or goes into broadcasting, or he loses I think $49 million. So
Yeah.
that saved us.
Michelle
Yeah.
and Steve, did you guys hear the leaked audio from Pat Kraft? We thought it was great because he was
Yeah, I
talking
did. I
to
did.
them like a human being, not just
Yeah.
like a,
Yeah,
fantastic.
exactly. I thought it
He
was
was-
interesting when Franklin was on game day. Was it the Saturday after? And he just didn't have any idea that he was going to get fired. And I'm thinking,
Oh my
I saw
gosh.
saw that coming, and you didn't.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
saw it. He was full of it. He's
know.
a coward. Yeah.
Maybe he didn't because of the money he was making. You're not going to fire me. You're going to lose $56 million.
I mean,
But-
Franklin, just play back your interview after Northwestern and just play it back and look at your face, man. Like,
Mhm.
he gave up on his team. He had
He
nothing
did.
left. He was flushed.
Yeah.
He was
He-
completely done. Like, just
completely gave
look
up.
at your interview back, Franklin, and tell us you didn't think you were going to get fired.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And even on the sidelines, he always looked lost. For
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, it was like he wasn't there.
Mhm.
Nope.
100%. And I after Oregon, I've said it. I've said it. I saw his face. I'm like, all right, that's a new face right there. I've seen Franklin sad about losses, and I wanted it.
Yeah.
I truly did wanted it for him more than anybody. I wanted him to win a national title because, from what I know, he worked his
Mhm.
tail off here, and it
Yeah.
just didn't work for him. And I think he says he cares about players, but when you are their friend, you don't truly care about your players if you're friends with them. Like that's not the way to go. But after Oregon, I said that's when it clicked in my head. Okay, we're going down a totally different road than what we thought even last week. It has turned now. We're not beating Ohio State. We might make a bit of a playoff run, but I said it's the same old thing. It hasn't changed. But I saw his face and I thought, all right, we might be in trouble because he looks like he gave up after Oregon. I think that's
Mhm.
when he really gave up.
It-
So,
it
and the
w-
players have said that.
Yeah, and it was almost like they won the national championship before the season even started, because that's
Yeah.
all it was. It was hype, 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 and then
Bingo.
the wheels just came off the bus.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said he didn't get a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
So he might have
Mhm.
gave up himself that very day, like, okay, that's dangerous to put your players into a situation like that. I mean, when your coach gives up because
I don't
of
know
money.
what yeah, absolutely. That's dangerous. That's what Hugh said. a while ago.
He's
You
not
said it
there.
was dangerous.
He's not
Yeah.
there, and you got to
Yeah.
have a coach that's there 100%, or kids are going to get hurt out in the field, right?
So what's everybody most excited for Matt Campbell and company? Like what are you looking forward to the most? I guess like maybe it's a position group or a certain player or
When I went to, well, my daughter and I went to Ohio State. Michigan the year before lost, and then Ohio State under Franklin the year after, and it's like 4th and 5, and we're on our own 25, and Franklin goes for it. And I'm thinking, I mean, what's in your head? He made it, but it's this data-driven 4th and short and stuff, and
Probably.
I don't like that. I mean, I hope
analytics.
Matt Campbell moves away from that, like 4th and 2.
You had the graph upside down, the data graph. It was upside down. So
yeah,
thought,
I mean, it's just like, wow. When Joe was, it was 4th and 1, and Joe kicked it all the time. It was automatic. Now it's this data-driven stuff, and I hope Matt Campbell doesn't embrace that stuff. I just hope he plays football. He gets a defense back out there.
Well, I'm looking forward to somebody who has good time management again too. I mean, there were games where we literally called 2 timeouts on a punt. It was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
it made no sense at all.
Franklin's only memorable like play call was the fake punt against Minnesota for us to win in 2024. Was it 2024?
Yep.
Yeah, 2024. Because you can't lose to Minnesota. I'm sorry, but like you're Penn State, you shouldn't be losing to Minnesota. So for him to make that call, it was gutsy. It was pretty much the opposite of what he typically would do. So that was his best play call that I can remember in his 14 years, really, or what? 11 years, 12 years.
12, yeah.
12, yeah.
He was so close in so many games, and it's just, man, in big games like Ohio State, Michigan,
yeah,
let's get it done.
Yeah.
You got him on the ground, keep.
Yeah.
I'm excited for D'Antlin and the defensive staff, man, because we got like 3 defensive coordinators as position coaches on the defensive side. So you got Veit for linebackers. You got Christian Smith he wasn't defensive coordinator. But then you got, who else did you get? Malloy, Coach Malloy. He does the Aloha Fridays.
Oh, I love that guy.
That guy's great. He's got a good attitude. So you got him, D'Antlin. So you're just stacked with coaching over there. So I'm curious to see. I think they're going to bring back a little bit of the 4-3 action, right? But it's going to be 4-2-5 intermixed with it. So I'm excited for the defense. Obviously, we want to see long passes, which we'll see back shoulders for the first time ever without Franklin. So, first time since, the Joe Paterno era. So that's exciting.
I'm looking forward to having some receivers that are able to get separation, be open, and get back to where we used to be.
Brett Eskelson.
I know people complained about when we were hit with all the sanction and everything, but I'll tell you what, I thought O'Brien, for all that he had and what he had to work with and what he came into, he did a heck of a job for a couple of years. But you just knew if his wife wasn't happy or he wasn't going to stay and wasn't going to be able to. But it is what it is. But I think Campbell is a step toward that kind of coach, really caring about his play. I mean, look, those guys could have all left, and really the only one that left was Red, that was pretty prominent. And they rallied around the troops with Marty and some other guys and said, we're here for you. We're going to make it work. And I think that's what you're going to get out of Campbell too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, totally. I remember I was walking with Dad on campus. I was in school. I was between classes because Dad worked at the library. So, and I think he asked me, what do you think about O'Brien? I said, I think the only problem we're going to have under O'Brien is guys leaving early for the draft. So, and that would have been true if he would have stayed. He wasn't a big recruiter guy, but man, he was such a good coach. Like you said, with what he had, my goodness, 8-4 with that team. He had 3rd string guys, if that, from Penn State. Most of them were 2nd and 3rd string guys, and he went 8-4. That's crazy.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to a coach that has humility and no tweets.
Mm-hmm.
The
Those
tweets,
were so
yeah.
bad. They were
Oh
so
my
bad.
god.
And actually
Want to
gets
know
in,
this week?
actually gets in front of the camera and says, this one's on me. I screwed this. I did this or did that, and it's on me. It's not on my players, because that was just sad to see how things were deflected.
Never once took responsibility for anything. Never once. And yeah, I mean, yes, that would be a good thing to have, and I think we have it for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
The comments, people answered the question as well. Looks like we got Thomas and Ivan in there. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
I'm looking
for
forward
Campbell.
to return of the Penn State University linebacker U. I'm sorry, linebacker U.
Yes.
I hope
There you go.
Yeah.
linebacker U 86. That's for sure. I mean,
Shane Conlon, Jughead.
I met him at a.
Did you?
I took my son Ben to a football camp up at Penn State, and I turned around and there he was standing there picking up his son, same age as Ben, and
Wow.
I didn't know what to say. I was so flabbergasted. Oh man, there he was. I mean,
Oh.
6'4", 6'8".
Yeah.
I don't know. He's tall, man. It's like unbelievable. He was a man back in '86.
Yeah.
Ray Isom, do you remember him, Michelle?
I
Yeah.
do.
Safety?
Bob, do you remember Bob White?
So
Yeah, I
Bob
had
White
classes
was-
with him.
I
and Ray
had Bob
Isom.
White. I had a class with him. Yeah.
Yep. Ray Isom was like
Yeah,
he was
Ray
a-
Isom. Mhm.
his neck went from his shoulders out to his
Yeah.
ears, and then he
Yeah.
was, oh my gosh.
Speaking
He
of
scared me.
necks,
Just looking at him, he was so big. He was short, but man, he was
Yeah.
I was at the
0%
Waffle Shop.
fat. What's that, Brett?
Mark Senior, I was at the Waffle Shop one weekend. This was a couple years ago, and standing right in front of me was Abdul Carter, and this guy's his neck was crazy. He was probably
Wow.
a sophomore at the time, and he probably saw me looking. And like I was gonna say something, but I was like, no, he's with some girl. I'm not gonna like bother him, But yeah, seeing him in person was crazy.
Ray Isom, he hit so hard. It's just you could feel it up in the stands.
Oh yeah, I
And they
forgot
just-
about him.
They don't hit like that anymore.
No, they
for some
don't.
reason. I don't know. I mean, they hit. Okay,
Mhm.
next player up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
and they
it was
also
really
don't throw
six-
marshmallows, Mark Senior, like we
Oh,
do. And
yeah,
those things
marshmallows.
hurt when they were frozen. They hurt.
Mhm. Yeah,
Took the sign or the goalpost down. I remember they carried it the whole way down to College
On
Avenue.
College Avenue. Yep.
Eesh.
Yeah, they wanted
So-
Dad to storm the field that one game, but he wouldn't go out.
No, the major I was in, I would have probably got. We had to be.
Yeah.
We had to dot our I's and cross our T's. or-
Yep.
yeah.
I mean,
I was
Yeah, I'm
watching.
excited.
Go ahead, Brett.
I was just gonna say I'm excited. We were talking about linebackers. I'm excited for Tony Rojas to please be healthy
Yes.
this year, because when he
Yeah.
was healthy last year, he was playing on another level, and then he got hurt on the Oregon game. So, and that changed our whole season because of that.
It did.
And not just him being hurt, but it definitely didn't help us. So I'm excited for Tony Rojas to hopefully stay healthy and have a killer year.
Yeah, Michelle.
Senior?
I was watching. Yeah,
and him,
Yeah, he's a
and him teaching the younger kids too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what we need to pass it on.
Yep.
I was watching Penn State football history on YouTube the other night, Michelle, and I forget what player it was. I think it was Bob White. They were interviewing him, and they were talking about going into the Miami game in '86. The receivers were like, "These are your cornerbacks. Like these are your defensive backs. Like they're not very big." And Bob White said, "Well, you haven't been hit by him yet."
Hmm.
So, man, they shut. I'll tell you what. You talk about one of the best dynasties of all time in Miami, and they came in fatigued.
Mm.
They were
Fatigue,
arrogant,
Yep.
and Penn State. Sandusky was the DC, and I'll tell you that's probably the best defensive coach game of all time because they picked Vinny Testaverde off 5 times, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
That was, and they only won 14-10.
Yeah.
You know,
That was a
that was
defensive battle.
Oh, my.
unbelievable.
That was exciting.
I was so, I don't know if you remember Mark Sr., but they had a parade and it went right down in front of my apartment building after they
Okay.
won.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember
Oh,
watching it and wow, living it.
Yep.
There's a plaque up on the, Beaver Stadium of all the football years, and 86 is up there.
And it's crazy. It's
12
been
and
40,
0.
40
12 and
years
0.
since we've won a national championship.
12 and 0. We were ranked
Insane.
number 1 in both polls, and yeah.
94 was the national championship too.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
I know.
was. It
We got
was.
robbed. Big
One
time.
game.
One
Yeah.
game.
Crap.
Illinois,
Wow.
Yep.
Illinois just coming from behind cost us the whole thing.
Yep.
Well, you know why, Michelle and Steve, why Penn State played so bad that day? So the night before, and their hotel, they set the fire alarms off.
Okay.
So they were awake. They were not rested at all. And for some reason, they couldn't get food. So their only
Mhm.
pregame meal was pizza.
Ooh,
So they were
Wow.
lack of sleep. They were on pizza because they did not treat them well there at all. Like Illinois pulled out all the stops to beat
Mhm.
Penn State, which is why they played so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the pollsters, and same with the one game where Joe took the starters out and they came back 35-29.
yeah,
I
that's right.
I forget
Yep.
who that was.
The voters only saw the scores. They didn't
Right.
know what happened. Penn State was the best team in the country that year, 100%.
Mhm.
No doubt.
But Anwar Phillips wouldn't have had a shot against our defense. So all around, it would have been another national title for Joe. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
Mm.
Nebraska would have been stomped. They would have been
Mhm.
stomped.
Yep.
Mhm.
yes. Yep.
The last time Nebraska was relevant too, I think. So it's been a
Probably.
while.
We dodged a bullet on that one too with
Matt
Matt
Rule.
Rule, yeah.
We were all like, no, we don't want him. I saw him lose 2 games in a row. I think I'm good on that. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, Matt Roll was supposed to be the head coach before Franklin. They had him all lined up. And I guess even after O'Brien, I guess Urban Meyer was lined up too. But
Urban Meyer,
yeah, I know someone that's good friends with Matt Roll, and he said Matt Roll was supposed to be the head coach of Penn State before Franklin, but they took Franklin instead. So I don't know.
probably would have been the same story.
Yeah.
Just
Ended in firing maybe, but
just
yeah.
different. Yeah, maybe not as long.
No, I like where we're at. I just hope people,
Yep.
Keep your expectations in check here
Yeah.
the first year.
Yeah,
Be
first year.
patient.
Yes.
Yep.
Be
Yes.
patient.
We can be good. We can be
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Just we're not.
I agree.
We're not gonna. Well, we're not gonna win a natty this year. Yeah.
No.
we're
No,
not.
but I think the potential's there to have a really good season, all things
Yeah.
considered.
I think so. Yeah.
It needs
Well,
your goal though every year, Natty, because
yes.
you're not. It's like you never cross the same stream twice. It's with NIL and the transfer portal. You got to win every year. That's got to be your goal, whether
Yep.
it looks good on paper or not. Because chances you having the same team next year are probably 80, 75%, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you
Well-
get money-hungry kids, they're not going to stay. You got to get kids that want to play football, not
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
after the money.
Yep.
That's what Pat Kraft's speech was. It was,
Yeah.
we're not settling for second best anymore and got to be okay with it. I don't think there's one fan out there that's okay with second best.
Not here.
That's not my goal. That's not what I'm okay with, and that's kind of what Pat Kraft was saying. But yeah, that's the goal every year, win a natty. And I mean, look at Indiana last year. You didn't think they were going to win the national championship. They went undefeated,
Mhm.
Heisman winner. I mean, crazy.
It's nuts.
Definitely.
16-0.
I have the stats here with the 86 season if you want to hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12-0,
86.
Coach Joe. Captains, Shane Conlon, John Schaefer, Steve Smith, Bob White. We beat Temple 45-15. We beat Boston College 26-14. East Carolina 42-17. Rutgers 31-6. Cincinnati 23-17. Syracuse 42-3. Beat Bama. Michelle. Remember that? Beat Bama.
I do remember that.
Beat Bama. That was our chant the whole way from
Yeah.
Lions Gates. 23-3. We beat Bama. West Virginia, we shut them out 19-0. Maryland 17-15, close game. Notre Dame 24. Notre Dame
I remember that one.
24-19. Pittsburgh 34-14.
Yep.
That was and then a Fiesta Bowl 14-10. Rankings AP first, UPI first. But that Pittsburgh game, that was the most vicious game, the most vicious rivalry. It was almost dangerous.
It was.
Not like Ohio State today, where
Mhm.
we kind of respect each other, but
Yep.
Pitt was dangerous when they came to town.
Yep.
But that was
And now they suck. Now they suck.
I can't believe we beat Bama 23-3. Oh man.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's hard
beat
to
Bama.
it's hard to remember not being in the Big Ten. I mean,
Yeah,
Mhm.
93
I know.
we went. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then won Rose Bowl in 94. 2
Yes.
years
Yeah.
in it, we won. We were
Yeah.
champions. That
Mhm.
was fun.
Yeah.
I think 92 was the first year of the
Big Ten.
yeah, I think
Well,
it was the Minnesota. They played
93?
Minnesota. Or maybe it was 93. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota was their first Big Ten football game.
Well, another thing too, Kajana Carter had 4 touchdowns against Ohio State that year. They won 63-14, and they actually dropped after that game. How he didn't win the Heisman, I don't know, but he should have won the Heisman Trophy. He was so good.
He
Man.
was good.
He was, yeah.
First
didn't get
carry in the
hurt-
Rose Bowl, gone.
Mm-hmm.
He was. Yeah, and that was a busted play too. I think it was Goon on that team? No, he wasn't on that team.
I
But
don't know what year he was.
Jeff Hardings, for you Steelers fans, he was the center on that team. But the one lineman said he missed his block, and Kajana got smacked by the safety, and he just bounced off of him and ran. He was gone. Yeah.
Wow.
So, Michelle and Steve, you have anything else to say about football?
No, just looking forward to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because after
Right.
wrestling, then that's all we have to look forward to. Well,
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
really, but he golfs all summer, so
Okay.
You
All
gonna
right.
go to the blue white game?
we may get over there. I actually think it's his birthday that day, but we'll see.
Okay.
Well,
Nice.
I'm actually willing to spend money on Penn State football now. I was not
Yeah.
going to do it before. Now I'm willing to spend money on it. I was not going to spend my hard-earned money on a
Mhm.
James Franklin coach team
Nope.
to go watch,
Yep.
which is unfortunate for the kids. But yeah,
Yep. I only ever went when it was free, when my buddy had tickets and we would just go. So
yeah. Yeah.
then it was fun because I didn't have to pay for it. But yeah.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well,
This was great.
Well, thanks
Michelle,
for having
Steve,
us.
thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll turn
Yeah.
you guys into wrestling fans yet.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah. If we need wrestling knowledge, definitely coming to you guys. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
baseball.
It starts Thursday at noon. So
Okay.
Big Ten?
yep. No, the NCAA's.
I mean, Big Ten championship? Or is it on the Big Ten or no? Or what's it on?
It'll be on ESPN.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
If you get the plus, you can actually watch whatever match you want, or you can
Okay.
throw it up so you see all 8 mats going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's a big deal. All right, guys. Thanks for all
Thank
the
you.
comments,
Thanks for having
everyone.
us.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yep.
Absolutely.
See you, Michelle and Steve.
See you,
Nice meeting
see you, Mark
Steve,
Senior.
Michelle. Yep.
See you, Mark.
See ya.
See ya. Have a good night.
You
You
guys.
too. See ya.
We are
Bye.
Penn State.
Penn State.
All right.